Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, listeners. Welcome back to Faith and Family, our special Ramadan series where I, Isaac, sit down with my daughter Aisha to discuss faith, life, and lessons from Islam.
Today, we've got a packed episode. First, we'll talk about the world of social media, its benefits and its pitfalls, and its impact on our deen and family dynamics. Then, we'll shift gears to discuss how to make the most of the last 10 nights of Ramadan, with a special focus of Laylatul Qadr, the most important night of the Islamic year. We'll explore its importance, the sunnah of this night, and even discuss the 3 types of ibadah, as well as the multiplication of rewards for our good deeds.
But before we dive into the main show, I think we owe the listeners an apology because there's not been any pancakes this week. No pancakes, but we've got something different in the Searle household this week. We have had, and I hope everyone's ready for this, we have had Oreo sushi. That's right, guys, Oreo sushi, and I've got to say, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. So we might start taking orders for Oreo sushi. Forget your normal sushi. The Japanese have got it wrong. It needs to be with Oreo. But you got the recipe. You found the recipe. You made it. Where did you find the recipe?
I found the recipe on Pinterest.
Well, I'm glad you found the recipe online because that gets us into something that I wanted to talk about today. The online world and social media. And just as you discovered your Oreo sushi through Pinterest, the online world can be a great tool for us Muslims, but it is unfortunately a bit of a double-edged sword. Now, social media has transformed the way we connect with each other. Social media was sort of in its infancy when I was younger. A lot of the platforms that we used to use have long since disappeared. They're no longer around.
And they had the before everything.
And we had the before everything, and we still do have the before everything. We have the Facebook, we have the YouTube, the TikTok, and I can't think of any other social medias. What other social medias are there?
Not the YouTube.
Any other different social medias, though?
Not the Instagram.
Oh, the Instagram, yes. Yes, the Instagram. Any others?
I can't think of any.
I can't think of any. But it has transformed the way that we connect and we interact with each other. Now, it does allow us to share our faith, access Islamic knowledge, and build Islamic communities online, and general communities online. They don't have to be Islamic. But there are challenges that go along with that as well. And sometimes it can distract us from our worship, lead to comparisons that hurt our self-esteem, or even affect family dynamics within the household if social media is not used wisely. Now, Aisha, let's start with your thoughts on the role of social media in our lives.
If we use it correctly, I think social media could be really, really positive. For example, I follow several Islamic pages that remind me on my daily prayers and give me motivational quotes. But I also see how some people spend hours scrolling through posts, and that can sometimes take them away from deen.
Absolutely. Now, I know that social media is quite an emotive subject, but I also know that everybody that's listening to us has some interaction with social media. So, as ever, we want you to get involved. We want to hear your opinions. We want you to ask us your questions. As ever, the studio line is 0116 4822 086. That's 0116 482 2086. And you can SMS or WhatsApp in on 0774 88 55 055. That's 0774 88 55 055. And please, please, please get in touch because we really want to hear what you guys have got to say today with your views and your questions on social media. But absolutely, Aisha, when used mindfully, social media can be a very powerful tool for spreading beneficial knowledge. Like I see a lot of hadith reminders or Quranic verses. However, it is easy to get lost in the endless entertainment or compare ourselves to others. And that can then lead to a weakened focus on what truly matters. It even affects our family dynamics. Sometimes it can cause less face-to-face interaction and less meaningful conversations at home. Now, how do you think families can balance online time with that really important real-life connection?
I believe that setting boundaries is the essential key. For example, having set times when devices are put away so that we can all engage in conversations or shared activities. For example, at meal times, especially in Ramadan iftar, is such a fantastic time to spend with our family. If our devices are all just put aside, then it gives everyone time to focus and talk to each other about the day and even focus on our du'as just before we break our fast. As our listeners already know, dua is so important, and we don't want to just be wasting our precious time on devices at the time where our duas are always accepted. That way, social media becomes a tool rather than a distraction.
I think that's a really wise comment you've made, and some great practical advice as well. There is a time and a place for everything, and that extends to devices, to social media, and also to family time. Like you said, there's a time and a place for spending time with family, and the ideal place for that is around the dinner table. Everyone's there. No one's got anywhere else to be when it's dinner time. So it's a great way to get people together.
You definitely don't have anywhere to be at dinner time.
I definitely do not have anywhere else to be at iftar time, for sure. That's for sure. We have a message. It's going to come through in a minute. Aisha, can you read the message out? I'm just not on my side of the screen.
Imran Omar said, Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, walaikum salam, Imran Omar. Now, Imran, you've messaged in, you've given salams to us. Please start the floods with your comments on social media. We want to hear them, we want to hear your views, we want to hear your opinions. But you just gave us some great advice there, speaking about a time and a place for things. But we really must remember that our deen should guide how we interact with the online world. We shouldn't do anything differently from what we would do in a one-to-one, face-to-face scenario. Now, using social media to remind ourselves of our purpose and to strengthen our community is a great thing to do and can be very, very beneficial. And of course, maintaining our family bonds in person is essential for a healthy and supportive home. Perhaps we should also talk, and this is really important, about staying safe online. Now, you're a young person.
I hope so.
I hope so, because if you're not a young person, then I can't be a young person, and I must be an old person. Although I think you think I'm old already. Listeners, I'm not that old. I really am not that old, and I have the passport to prove it. But as a young person, what do you think us grown-ups, I'm not going to say old people, I'm going to say us grown-ups can do to help our children stay safe online and use their social media responsibly?
The first thing is to have faith in us, to respect the boundaries that you have set. As my head teacher, Mr. Whitney, said, if you try and totally remove social media out of the children's lives, they'll just want to use it even more, which will tempt them, and they don't learn any skills to deal with social media safely. I think it is towards the...
Really, I'll tell you now that there's an awful lot of fear about the other people using social media. It's not that we're always scared and terrified that our own children will be doing the wrong thing, but we have a fear that there is other people using social media and they might not have very good intentions. But if we know our children know how to spot these people and these scenarios, and we have some idea of what our children are doing, we can put ourselves at ease knowing that our children are safe. And that goes back to what we said before. We have to keep that family dynamic going. We have to talk, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's very important.
Open conversations are always good.
Because if I know what you're doing without looking over your shoulder, but if you're coming to me and saying something's happened, it doesn't quite feel right, it feels a bit weird, and we've got that relationship that we can talk about that might just get you out of a sticky situation or stop you from getting into a bad deal with social media by yourself to a degree, but also keep referring back to your parents for guidance as well. We have had a message, and it's quite long, so let me just read it out, and then we'll start to pick it apart, because I think it's going to be quite a good message. These devices are a virus, I tell you. But since it's part of life, we should make sure we are all aware of their accounts, etc. We have to monitor their activity until we are confident that until we are confident that they are responsible and safe and know enough about it not to be bullied online or trapped or led in the wrong way. Now, that's something that we didn't talk about. I just want to focus on that word bullying for a very short minute.
Cyberbullying could happen online?
It could happen online. Have you got any experience of cyberbullying?
Not really, because I've not been using so much social media talking to people who I don't know. Usually if you don't know the person, they'll probably cyberbully you. But I guess some other people could cyberbully you. People you know saying bad stuff or putting bad stuff.
Your friends?
Yeah, I've had quite a few friends, but alhamdulillah, I'm not part of that.
Now, I want to ask you a question about that, because that's obviously the online world coming into the real world. Online bullying hurts just as much as being bullied
in real life.
Exactly. Now, I would ask you, how would you deal with that? Would you deal with that in the online world, or would you bring it into the real world? And I apologise that I'm saying real world. I'm sure the online world is very real. It's very tangible. But would you bring it into the real world, away from social media to deal with it, or would you try and use it, the device, the social media, to combat that online bullying?
I would bring it back to reality, and I would speak to someone I really trust, because like we said before, I think that it depends on how you use social media. And if someone cyberbullies you, what else could you do on social media to make it better? You can't really cyberbully them back.
No, exactly. Exactly. But that's a really good point that you've made. It's about trust. It is about trust. We need the trust between the parents and the children of the parents. You know, we all have a duty. You know, I can't... If somebody says something to you and I get upset and blow it out of all proportion, then you're not going to want to talk to me. But vice versa, if you say something to somebody, then you've broken my trust in me trusting you to responsibly use that device.
So it goes both ways,
it goes both ways. You have a duty to use it responsibly, and I have a duty to guide you in the right direction, but also to allow it, because it is a part of life. That whoever sent that other message in made a really good point. It is a part of life. I don't think anybody does not have any connection with social media. I would ask you one more question as well about that. So they said that until you're confident that they can use it properly. Now, as a young person, I'm going to ask you a question, and it's going to be really hard for you to answer. But do you think there is a point at which you can use it responsibly? Or do you think even when you've got to a point that you feel like you're using it properly, you still need that backup and support from the parents?
Of course, maybe for the first few years or something not years, that's probably a little long, but you should be speaking regularly to your parents when you just first got your device. But I feel like once your parents and you are 100% confident of what's going on and how to deal with every problem that comes your way with devices, then you should be allowed then you should be able to work on everything yourself, and everything you've got, everything that comes your way. I think you should be able to deal with that at a certain point.
I think that's right. You should be built up to a point where you can deal with these things. You know, bullying is serious. Bullying's a bit different. If anyone gets bullied online, please, please, please go and speak to a grown-up or an adult or somebody you trust in a position of some sort of authority. But I'm going to ask you another question now, Aisha, based on the message we had in as well. They said about monitoring it. Now, monitor. You get a lot of apps that can monitor your screen time, monitor where you're going, what you're doing, restrict your access, and even cut your phone off. So they can make your phone lock if you've gone over your
Screen time.
screen time. Exactly. You see, you're a young person, you know all these key words of tonight's conversation. But these apps, good or bad from a child's perspective?
It depends on what apps you're banning. If you're banning apps that you're talking to people, like especially your parents or someone, then I don't think that's good at one bit, because the main reason parents really give their phone is so they can keep in touch. So if you ban those apps, I don't think that's very good. But if you not ban, but like put a screen time for certain apps like social media, like those
WhatsApp or
WhatsApp, if that's how you message, then I don't like message you and keep in touch, then no. But those ones that you watch things or scroll, then I think that there should be a certain screen time.
I think that's very good. We've got another message, and again, you know what? We're getting some really good messages from tonight, and we did know that this was going to be a really, really emotive subject. But Aisha makes a good point. I'm going to throw in the mashallah. Aisha makes a good point, mashallah.
MashaAllah.
It should be added that the parents should follow up every now and then and just make sure that they are okay and they don't have any issues in the online world. Parents should be super approachable in this manner, and that's where she's summed up. Well, sorry, I've said she. I don't know if it's a she or a he. That messenger has summed up exactly what I think we're trying to say. Parents should be there. They should be super approachable. There should be no judgment around social media, because sometimes people make mistakes, and we're learning. And in the real world, though, you wouldn't get judgment. But like I say, people are scared. But yes, there should be routine follow-ups, and we should be checking in regularly so that we've got some sort of idea.
But at the same time, when there's a certain age, like I said, that you have an idea of how to sort things out when problems on devices come your way as well.
21.
21?
21, yes. In our house, I think it's going to be 21.
Well, that's...
when you've got your university degree, then you will be trusted without any backup from your parents. How's about that?
A little bit old. Definitely older than you, but...
Okay, 18. When you're old enough and sensible enough to vote for the government, then you can use a phone by yourself.
Fine.
Deal.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to transition now. We're going to talk about something completely different, if that's okay with you.
That's fine with me.
Let's talk about the end of Ramadan, because we are approaching the end of Ramadan, specifically the last 10 nights, which hold extraordinary significance. Now, I'm sure you've heard of it, Aisha, Laylatul Qadr.
Yep.
Or the Night of Decree, is the most important night of the Islamic calendar. Now, many people nowadays see this as simply a night of donation, a night where charities are asking you for money, people are asking for donations, you're seeing everyone running these Just Giving campaigns, and that's great, but it is so much more than that. Now, what does Laylatul Qadr mean to you, Aisha?
I think Laylatul Qadr is a night of immense mercy and blessings. It's when the reward for good deeds is multiplied massively, and it offers us a unique chance to have our prayers answered. I think it's a time where we can truly reset our hearts and refocus our lives with Allah. Another thing I wanted to add is that Surah Qadr is one of the surahs that tells you all about Laylatul Qadr.
Exactly. That's a really nice point, actually. I love bringing it around full circle like that. Surah Al-Qadr is a very nice surah as well. And if anybody wants to really learn about Laylatul Qadr, I cannot recommend enough reading a tafsir of Laylatul Qadr, reading not only the English translation, the direct translation, unless you understand Arabic, in which case read the Arabic, but reading a detailed explanation, and that's the important bit. Read an explanation of what that actually means. We've got another message, and I'm going to let you read this out, Aisha, because this one is directed solely at you.
Great show, alhamdulillah. Aisha is a star, mashallah, and this is from a sister from OTB.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
So we're talking about stars. When do you see stars? At night. And we're talking about the night of decree. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam
Sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
told us that Laylatul Qadr is better than 1,000 months. 1,000 months, everybody. It's a night where our acts of worship are magnified and every good deed is rewarded many, many, many times over. Yet, as I said before, some of us have limited our actions on this night to just donating money. And charity is very important. Do you agree, Aisha?
Very important.
But it's not everything, is it?
Yeah, there's so much more to Laylatul Qadr that you should do.
Exactly. So the true sunnah of Laylatul Qadr involves comprehensive ibadah. And you need to remember your fear of Allah, hope in Allah's mercy, and also trust in Allah.
That makes a lot of sense, Popsy. It means that our worship on that night isn't just about giving donations, but it's also about reflecting our relationship with Allah, being humble before Him and truly trusting in His plan.
Now, I'm going to ask you now, what specific things, and obviously we don't know which night Laylatul Qadr is, but I'll come on to that in a minute. We'll come on to that. But what are you going to be doing in these last 10 nights to try and make the most of Laylatul Qadr?
I'll be praying Tahajjud. I'll be praying the Tahajjud regularly, like most of the time, and I will be praying at night. I'll be praying some Quran, and I will be patient, and I'll just try to become a good person, especially in the last 10 nights.
Yeah?
Be the best of myself.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to pick up on something that I think you missed. It's also very, very crucial to remember our intentions during these last 10 nights. Whether we're praying, reciting Quran, we have that intention that we're trying to make the most of Laylatul Qadr as well. But even if we're engaging in daily activities like the washing up, something like that, make that intention that you're doing it to put a smile on your parents' face on such a beautiful night, and you want to get so many more rewards than you normally would, to make up for every day that you've not done the dishwasher. That was a look, that was. But anything. And you remember we spoke about shopping in Mecca and Medina, and we said our intention should remain focused on seeking Allah's pleasure. That's what we need to be doing, especially in these last 10 nights. Whatever it is you're doing, around the house, if you're out and about, just keep that intention that you're trying to seek Allah's pleasure. Now, I'll go back to that example of shopping again. So when we're shopping, we do it with the intention of supporting the economy of the blessed city of Makkah or Medina, if we're shopping in Makkah or Medina, that is, for the sake of Allah. Then even that act becomes a part of our worship. And that's what we want to be doing on Laylatul Qadr. We want to be doing all these small, small deeds with the right intention to try and gain reward. Can you think of any small, small things we can do?
Move something harmful out the way, and then the intention could be I'm moving something out the way for this person so they couldn't get hurt, and I'm doing it for the sake of Allah and to get good rewards, good deeds.
Exactly. Any others?
Do you have any others? I want to ask you.
Do I have any others? Yes. Doing the washing up.
And you can tell me the intention as well.
And the intention is to make your parents happy for the sake of Allah.
For the sake of Allah.
Making Oreo sushi to make your parents happy for the sake of Allah.
And to make my taste buds happy.
And to make your taste buds happy. Anything helping your siblings out, doing their homework.
Doing the homework?
Helping them do their homework. But yeah.
I get the point.
But again, as long as we do it for the sake of Allah, even that act becomes a part of our worship.
MashaAllah.
Do you agree?
Definitely. I find that these nights, my heart feels especially connected to Allah. It's as if every night, every prayer, and every verse I recite carries so much weight and power.
Exactly. Now, I said we'd get round to it. it's important to remember that Laylatul Qadr might fall on any night of the last 10 nights. You know what? I've got a message for me. I think this is the first ever message directed at me. So whoever sent this, Jazakallah. And somebody has said, you know what? I'm feeling very shy now, listeners. I don't even think I can read it because I don't want people to think that I've made this up, because that's how nice this message is. Said, Isaac is hitting the spot with the intentions and even his smile. Wow. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I can't believe it. I'm okay.
And someone else has messaged in saying, Aisha, it's fine. You can do your sister's homework.
I'm fine, thank you, though. Thank you for the nice offer.
But it can be any night. Now, generally, we say that it's going to fall on one of the odd-numbered nights. Commonly the 25th or the 27th, but it could be the 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th, 29th. But we should strive to maximise our worship during these nights by engaging in extra tahajjud, like you said, extra prayers, extra recitation of the Quran, and also sincere dua as well during these last...
Dua always comes back whatever we do.
Exactly. That's been a really common theme through our programme, hasn't it?
A really good topic. I think my favourite topic, to be honest, dua.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. What's your favourite topic?
My favourite topic, I enjoyed last week's episode about Hajj and Umrah. And we'd be interested to hear from the listeners as well what they have found interesting or what they found boring. Perhaps that's the better question to ask, Aisha. What do you think?
What do you find boring?
I don't find anything boring, you know me. I'm very simple. But again, please message in. It's 0774 88 55 055. That's 0774 88 55 055. Or call us on 0116 48 22 086. Someone else's message saying, when are you next on the radio, as I'm loving this dynamic duo. Wow. That's the first time I've ever been called dynamic. Jazakallah.
That's us being called dynamic.
Oh, us too. I think you've made me look more dynamic. Normally I look undynamic. When are we next on the radio? I wish I could remember off the top of my head, but I can't.
Is it tomorrow? I don't know.
No, there was a bit of a scheduling issue with tomorrow, and that's what's thrown me. We were supposed to be on, but we're not. But that's it. Anyway, we were talking about the odd nights and maximising our worship during these nights. Someone else has messaged in with a secret that they've asked me to share with the listeners. Someone has said, Isaac doesn't get bored. I sat with him once all night just around a fire. And that's true. I just looked at the fire all night. Nothing, I can't get bored. It's impossible. It's impossible. I don't do getting bored. But yeah, Laylatul Qadr is a night where there is a reward for every good deed, and every reward is multiplied. Now, I really want to remind our listeners to take advantage of this incredible opportunity to engage in their acts of worship with good intentions and that taqwa as well. So let good intention and taqwa be your pillars of your worship on Laylatul Qadr, so that you can return home after Ramadan with a renewed spirit and a strengthened faith. Now, going back to what we were speaking about at the start of the episode, we spoke about social media. I think social media can tie in with Laylatul Qadr as well. I think we've got a link. Someone else has messaged in saying Laylatul Qadr, rewards of 80-something years in one night. Exactly.
Oh, wow. So like your whole lifespan just on this.
Perhaps one of the listeners can do the maths. We said 1,000 months. That's the wording in the hadith, which probably works out to 80 years, because 10 months in a year, I don't know, I can't do maths while I'm saying it. But I wonder how many days that works out to.
It depends on leap years as well.
Depends on leap years as well.
That'll be confusing.
It would be. So we've got to add a margin of, say, 1,000 days anyway, just to cover leap years.
Wow, 1,000.
Probably.
Days and thousand
No,
nights.
surely not 1,000 months. No, so 1,000 to 100 days.
Yeah.
5 days. A day.
5 days?
An hour. That's it, everybody. We leave a margin of an hour for leap years. But do you think that we can link social media now to Laylatul Qadr?
Well, I don't know anyway, except that you can find on social media you can find good you can find nice du'as and prayers to do Laylatul Qadr, but I don't have
Exactly.
anything else.
Exactly that. It doesn't need to be a complete force for evil. There's so many good things. You can remind your friends that Laylatul Qadr is, could happen in the last 10 days. Encourage them, give them dawah, encourage them to pray, encourage them to do all these extra things like reciting Quran.
Yeah, with motivational quotes and things like that.
Exactly. So it doesn't need to be a bad thing, does it?
No, like I said before, social media, when it's been used, it depends on how you use it, and it becomes good if you use it with good intentions and good uses, and becomes bad with bad intentions and bad use.
And that's what I really wanted to hear, because you used the word intention, and that is the point. Someone's done the maths for us. Wow, fantastic! I love this. It's like what's that Google thing?
ChatGPT.
where you speak
Oh.
and then you get an answer back, like Siri but on Android. It's like that, but my personal one, and I'm spreading it around Leicestershire. 83.3 years, 1,000 months, but it's indicative of a lifetime, or 30,000 days. Possibly not adjusted for leap years. But wow, 30,000 days.
Whew, wow.
So imagine how much you're going to pray in one night. It's like praying for...
30,000 days.
Exactly. So even if you pray for 10 minutes, it's like praying 10 minutes of 30,000 days.
Wow.
So it's still 30,000 times 10
Imagine
minutes.
you do that every single day together.
Wow, and that's the point.
We've got a question. Is the reward like this because other prophets' nations live longer than ours?
No, not really. It's a good point, but it's basically because... what's the best way to word this? It's basically to tell us or to show us how powerful it is that it's like a whole lifetime. And that's the killer. It's like a whole lifetime of ibadah in one night.
Do you know how to spot Laylatul Qadr? Apparently something to do with the sun, or I don't know. Do you have something to do with the sky's colour?
Do you know what? I've heard something about that, and
Even I have, and I was wondering because I thought you would know.
ask the listeners.
Because I thought the older you are, the wiser you are. So I thought you'd be quite wise.
We don't know everything, though. We don't know everything. That would be silly. And there's so much knowledge out there. It's amazing. There's so much knowledge out there. But that's why we all need to pull together and share our knowledge. What do they call it now? Gatekeeping. Don't gatekeep the knowledge, listeners. Tell us if anybody knows a way to spot Laylatul Qadr.
Yeah, and other than praying every of the odd nights, I don't know anything else, because of course praying every odd night, one of them could obviously be Laylatul Qadr. So yeah.
But we might as well pray the even nights as well.
Could it be even nights? I thought it was only odd.
It can be any night in Ramadan.
But that even Laylatul Qadr, that shouldn't make us only pray just then. Not even just Ramadan. Any time we should be praying the same, and maybe a little bit more in Ramadan. But just because it's Laylatul Qadr time, that doesn't mean that we should be praying way more before, way more afterwards.
There we go. Someone has answered with, they have said to us, a clear night, quiet, no dogs barking, etc., etc. And some say a very light shower for a short time. This is the rain of rahmah.
Wow, mashallah.
There you go. Has it rained for a short period any time in Ramadan, Aisha?
Either rained a lot or not at all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because it could be any night in Ramadan, you know that?
Yeah.
So
Could it be any night? I thought you said, I don't get it, because you said the last 10 nights and the odd ones.
yeah, so let me clarify that actually. It could be, it's most likely to be within the last 10 nights. But it could be at any time during Ramadan.
So we could have already missed it.
We could have already missed it,
Oh no.
which is why it's so important, so important to keep up with your ibadah. And you know, Ramadan is not a one-day deal. It's a whole month. And I think the reason it's sort of normally in the last 10 nights is because we're all in the groove by now. You know, we're in the rhythm. And we've realised that actually it's not that difficult, and we've got extra capacity that we're not using for doing much more ibadah. You know, we're used to it. Now, just to go back again to the social media, we spoke about the bad points, the good points, but what's the feeling within you and your friends? Is it something that most people are using for a lot of the time or for a little bit of the time? And how much do you feel it influences people? Do you feel people get a lot of their ideas from online nowadays?
We've got a message first. Laylatul Qadr is said to be not a warm or cold night.
We've had some very, very cold nights lately. We've had some very, very cold nights.
Oh no.
But tonight is a very nice temperature. But we're not in the last 10 days yet. Is it the 19th?
19th.
19th today.
19th? It feels like the second or third.
Exactly. We could be in the last 10. We're going to be in the last 10 days from tomorrow, which is really sad. Well, it could be the last 10 nights because there could be 29 days. We have a caller, so I am told.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Who are we speaking to? Or something to do with social media?
Yes, I wanted to say that Laylatul Qadr, the night was about to be revealed to Prophet ﷺ, but two Sahaba were fighting, so Allah erased it from Prophet ﷺ's memory.
That's a really good fact.
Or else we would have known.
That our own foolishness as human beings stopped us from knowing which night is Laylatul Qadr. Now, that's a great fact, Sarah. Any other facts about Laylatul Qadr or social media you can share with us?
Yeah.
Go on, share away. Any other facts?
No, I don't remember. I had one in mind, but I forgot it.
But no, that one fact was as good as 10 normal facts. That's a really good fact.
It really impacted the whole.
Interesting.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
And any bits of the show that you found boring?
No, not at all.
I think we've found our number one fan. So big shout out to Sarah for being our number one fan. Jazakallah for calling in. Anything else you want to say before you go off the line?
I wanted to just send salam to Aisha's mom and her siblings.
Walaikum salam.
But them.
And all my friends.
And all your friends. Perfect. Beautiful.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam.
That taught me a lot, even though it was only one fact.
It's a really nice fact, and I'd forgotten that actually.
I never knew that at all from the beginning.
Wow, so you've learnt something. So a big jazakallah to Sarah there for teaching us something we didn't know. But that's really important, that it was going to be revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but then the Sahabas were fighting, and that was it, and we lost our chance to know. So now we're in a position where we have to
do the whole Ramadan, which is not really a bad thing. It can also be a good thing because we're getting 70 times the reward in a normal day of Ramadan. So we're getting 70 times, and then for Laylatul Qadr we're getting even more.
Exactly, like 30,000 times. But it just goes to show that humans are not perfect as well, and what we're not saying is spend every minute of your night praying, reading Quran. There's so many other things you can do, but just keep that intention. You know, you can spend time with your family, but keep that good intention. You can go out, but keep that good intention. Your niyat is the most important thing. You know, it's not just about you need to you need to pray a certain amount of pages of Quran. You need to do this, that, or the other. There is no rule. Now, what works for you might not work for somebody else. And that's why any kind of ideas you've got, please message in with them of things that we can do to increase our rewards for Laylatul Qadr. We've only got 3 minutes left, Aisha.
That went quick.
It went really quick today. Some really nice messages, actually. But I just want to go over the key points, if we can. What's your key takeaway points from today's episode, do you think, Aisha?
Let's see. Use your devices wisely and use social media with the good intentions.
That's really important. And balance it with our real life interactions to maintain that healthy family dynamic. We've spoken about the last 10 nights and about Laylatul Qadr. Laylatul Qadr is the most important night of the Islamic year, with rewards multiplied 30,000 times, which just blows my mind. I don't know about you, Aisha. It's just such a big number. Laylatul Qadr is not just about donating money.
Like I said.
It's about worshipping Allah with true intentions that are pure throughout all of our activities. Anything else you'd like to add, Aisha, before we sign off?
Remember du'as all the time, because it's like the key point for me for everything I do.
I think that's really important. And again, on Laylatul Qadr, not just about making dua, but making dua for other people as well.
Cheat code,
exactly. Making dua for other people, our family, the ummah, me and Aisha, if everybody can remember us in their duas, inshallah, and the rest of our family as well.
Also, a lot of people, when making dua, they don't they make dua for the smallest things. I was told by someone very wise that you should make dua for like the highest place in Jannah. Make dua for things that will help you in the hereafter.
That's it. Make dua for your akhirah bank account, not for your dunya bank account. Keep them rewards in the bag for later on. What do you think?
Because the world is just a test at the end of the day.
So, can I pray for a Ferrari in Jannah?
Inshallah, yeah, make dua for a Ferrari in Jannah.
Okay, and that big mansion, and for peace in the Qabr as well. That's a really important one. And these are all things that we want to be praying. Jazakallahu khairan for listening. I really hope this episode inspires you to use social media wisely, strengthen your family ties, and make the most of the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Remember, Laylatul Qadr is a night of immense blessing, so please focus on your worship and let your heart be full of gratitude. May Allah bless your fasting and strengthen your iman. Until next time.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.